welcome to Pigs and Things. I today am going to make something for Christmas. And my idea was actually going through some scraps of fabric that I used for blankets. And this is what I came up with. They're kind of long. I think it was just, I was cutting some cubes for a quilt, and this is kind of what was left over. And I found this, and I noticed that James was having a lot of fun just with this scrap of green. He was like rolling it up and playing with it. And I was like, oh, I can make a snake. So what I'm going to do is and notice how this is smaller than the one on top. I've never made a snake before, but this is probably going to be the bottom, the belly of the snake. And then this will be the top. So I'm just going to start working on it. Kind of, first of all, it's wider at the top on both of these sides, and then it's thinner at the bottom on both of these sides. So it's going to give it a fat to small, like thicker to thinner look. And then I'll just adjust it once I put the stuffing in it, or, yeah, I'll show you as I go. I'm just kind of figuring it out, so I think it will turn out good. So the next step is to take this and sew it together, which is what I did. Sewed it on one end, and then I didn't do anything other than, this one's bigger, so you kind of notice I just brought it to this. First I sewed this side, and then this wasn't attached over here, and then I brought it over here and sewed this side. I just actually looked at some pictures online of a stuffed toy snake. So I just drew basically the shape of a pear for the head, and then brought it in a little bit on the sides, because you don't want it to just be one big thick neck where it doesn't have any deciphering between the body and the head. So I just brought it in a little bit and then gradually made it go back out to the thick part of the body. So what I'm going to do now is actually just sew on this line on both sides and on the head. And I'm just going to sew that, and then I'll be flipping it inside out and then stuffing it. Okay. So this is what it looks like after I drew it on there. Michael says it's too thin, and I might agree with him. I don't want to unpick it. So this is what I drew on there. On the inside it has the marker where I drew. Actually, right here it has the marker. So that's where I drew what the shape that I wanted it to be. It's kind of a pear up here that just kind of elongates down here and goes into the rest of the body. So I flipped it back and kind of gives it a bigger head with a littler neck, and then it goes on to the rest of the body. So I'm just going to kind of curve this around, but I'm going to stuff it first, and then we'll add decorations or whatever we want to it. Really, we can do whatever we want. But starting with just one little fluff ball at a time and sticking it inside the snake. And it's so hard to try and push it down. So I actually just pulled this off of the blind. Okay, that's naughty, but James did it before I did. And I'm just using that to actually push it down where I need it to be. And it's so much faster than just trying to push it with your hands or working it down somehow. This is much better. And that way I can kind of stuff it thicker or thinner, whatever way. I think if you want it to be able to move around and play, have them play with it a little bit better. Don't stuff it too thick, because you can stuff it really thick and it won't move very much, but kind of thinner, just so it holds its shape, basically. This is the shape I cut for the head, and now what I'm doing is I just found some white material, and I am just tracing the shape of it. And what I'm going to do now is actually just cut out the shape. I have two, this is from an old bow on a wedding dress, but I have two of these laying back to back, so I'll have two now.
And what is this going to be for?
This is going to be the inside of the mouth. think. This is what I'm going to try and see if it looks the way that I'm thinking. Like this. What would be the difference? This is not very good. Oops. So I was thinking I would sew it together in the mouth and have one on top and one on bottom. Now that I have these two white shapes cut out, what I'm going to do is, this might sound weird, but I'm actually going to sew it right on the outside. So this is the outside of the snake, what it's going to look like down here, but I'm going to actually take this and sew it around right here. And I'm going to do that so that I can flip it inside out. Now we'll have a nice sewing along this edge. It will kind of look like this, but all the way around down here. Now what I've done, you see I sewed these white things to the outside. This is the snake, the outside of the snake. Sewed these to the top of the mouth and the bottom of the mouth. And now what I'm going to do is actually flip it inside out. That's the clean part that I was talking about. Right there and right here. I guess this is the bottom of the mouth. So there's that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish filling it with stuffing, and I'm going to sew this together in the mouth. And then I can draw. I was actually thinking I would draw on this some teeth and maybe decorate some other parts of the snake. So what I've been doing now is I've just finished sewing it up. It looks all right. And I am now just drawing the teeth on because I have it white. I decided I was just going to draw them on. And another thing you can do is actually get a pink marker and draw on the tongue, the little lizardy snake tongue. What I'm doing now is I have drawn a dot where I want the spot to be, and I just drew a circle with marker. I have it all over my paper. And he's having fun. Anyways, drew a circle, cut it out, and decided where I want all my dots to be. And this is how I've been sewing them on. It gives it a cute, really cute look. And it's really, really easy and quick. When a child's not pulling on it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Already having fun, see? Okay. So, had this down to a T, but now I'm in a different spot, so it's a little bit different. And I just kind of twist it around as I go, so it's a little bit easier for me with it being a circle and stitching it. Okay, and then from there I just make a circle with the, or I guess it would be a triangle, and I stick this needle through there and tie it off. This is just like basic sewing skills stuff that I don't have any fancy ones. And then you cut it from there, and this is how it looks with all these spots that I sewed on there. Has some other stuff stuck to it too. But it's really cute. And to finish it all off, I'm going to be putting some googly eyes, you know, the ones that shake when you move it. I'm going to put those right here to finish it off. So I will show you that video tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Like that? Okay. Oh. Oh.
A top. Oh.
There's an eye. Not too hot. Hot enough to still make it stick, but not too hot to burn ya. Thanks for watching. I hope you try to make one of these snakes with scrap material. It ended up being so cute, and truthfully, before I even put the eyes on, he was playing with it. And he was just like, snake, snake, snake. And that's why it's dirty right now, because he got to play with it before it was finished. But it ended up looking really cute. Just a little snake. And try it out. It's really fun and really easy, and they love it. So try it out. Check out my other videos. Try some of those out if you want. And comment and subscribe and like it.